So I think the first big thing you'll notice is our new horizon we have in the background. And if I just pop into the advanced mode, you'll hopefully see that a little bit clearer. So we have this surrounding border of mountains at the moment, which just gives the sort of area, so especially when you're down at play level, just a nice setting in the backdrop rather than right at the end. Magic Leopard, placeholder horizon. Yeah, so it's not the final thing. It is something where it will hopefully be able to be customized, so you'll be able to pick from a selection of horizons. But for now, I think this works really well. I really quite like it, and I think it's better than the empty void that was there before.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
The other things we have, so first thing you'll notice here is our new chat window. So let me just bring that up. So this is now going to allow you to chat with other players on the server. So if you're not fortunate enough, like me and Adam, to be able to sat right next to each other when we do most of our builds, you'll be able to communicate with each other. Very good, well done, Adam. So yeah, you can send messages to each other. You can also link to entities in the world. So if you're talking about something specific in the game, so let's say I want to go and talk to Adam about the game entity itself, I can choose to link that to Adam and say, this is the game entity I was talking about. And then he'll be able to click on that and he'll be taken to that entity, or at least it will select it for him so he knows exactly what I was talking about.
And now I can go and edit the script on it.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a really nice, quick way of being able to refer to specific things in the game without having to sort of necessarily coordinate the exact naming of things. You can say, click this entity, and you'll find what you're looking for. So that's one really cool thing. We've also got a number of post-process shaders, which are really exciting. And this is hopefully going to allow you to really change the look and feel of the game. So similar to how we have the sort of the color grading, where you can add a color grade over the top, this is actually a much deeper level shader, which fundamentally changes the game, the way the game looks. So if we go to the world settings at the top, you'll notice, I'll just move this chat window out of the way. Close some of these. Right, so in our world settings, we've got this new post-process field at the bottom, which is a drop down similar to the color grade. And from here we have a number of different options. So if I go to my player here, and I'll just run through a couple of these. So for example, we have oil painting. I'll just hide there. So there you can see that it will change it for everyone in the world. But basically at this point we can see that the whole world has been given this sort of oil painting look. Again, it's just a really nice way of making the games look sort of quite unique and different. We can go now to our cell shaded one, which is a really nice sort of like your Borderlands and those sort of games. It gives you a nice cell shaded feel. Works really well with a lot of the props. Let's pick a couple more. So we'll go for film grain, so it gives it that sort of fuzzy film grain over the top. One more, Technicolor. So again, just sort of alternates the colour, and these are really fun to work with the colour grading. So you can sort of mix the colour grading and the post-process shaders to really sort of get to grips with different looks and feels for the games. We might play with that a little bit later on. I think we were on about maybe like a sepia film grain kind of look for like that old western kind of feel. But yeah, so there's that. There's plenty there to be sort of experimenting with. I'm just going to go back to normal for now, just so we
can see
what we're doing. Yeah, cool. Okay. The other changes are sort of more tool related. So first things first, we have the select tool can now be done sort of on and off the grid easier. So holding shift will toggle whether you're on the grid or not, or you can toggle up here to have that setting permanent. So if you always want to be off the grid, you just uncheck that. The grid size, so if you do want to be on the grid but you perhaps want to do it in 5 voxel chunks rather than just 1, you can essentially you specify that here. So I can say I want to snap in 10. So now when I place a mesh, let's go for one of our new meshes, so the water tower for example. When I move this, it's going to snap in units of 10 rather than units of 1. And for example, again, if I up this to 20, you should see it snap twice as far. So that's just another way we're hoping to give you that sort of slightly finer control. Another quite neat feature with this is if I just copy and paste this water tower to create a second one here, and I'm going to turn the grid snap off but collision on. Now when I'm moving this around, it's not going to let me move the mesh through this other mesh. So this is a really nice way of putting meshes together in the world and not having to worry about them clipping through each other. So if I'm trying to place these 4 water towers in a grid near each other, but I don't want them to necessarily clip through each other, I can just turn on collision and none of your meshes will be able to be clipped through, which again is just a really nice way of being able to organise your world nice and quickly. The voxel brush now shows you the material you have selected. So if I go to the voxels now and select out a couple of different voxels, so brick, pine and the hedge, and I go to the pen tool, so we can see at the moment I've got the granite, but if I change that to the pine, I can see now that I have the pine selected, brick and the hedge. So that's just a nice quick visual way of being able to see exactly what voxel you have selected at the time, which is really handy. If you haven't been putting them in your hotbar, you know I was to just click on cheese Swiss, I'd see again that I've got that selected, and that's a nice easy quick way of doing that. As well as that, as I sort of alluded to before, we've got a number of new meshes in here. I think this might be the most meshes we've added in one go.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much doubled the number of meshes. Yeah,
this is quite a large theme pack this time. You'll notice some of them are sort of placeholders at the moment and don't have their skins, or what we'd call a white box. They will come in over time. But for example, we have plenty that are fine. So this nice big wagon, for example, we've got a nice little mailbox. We've got quite a lot of fruit and veg in this one, so pumpkins, orange. We've even got some fish this time, so some pretty good fish. Flowers, pumpkin harvest, as well as obviously all of our previous theme packs. So the main idea with this theme pack, as I say, is Western Frontier, is just to basically give us more of a non-combat based theme pack. So we've had obviously weapons and things in the previous packs, but the main focus of this pack is more the adventure side of games. So things like mining simulators or farming or fishing or all those sort of things that are a bit more real world, sort of Western Frontier, gold mine, all those sort of things, rather than sort of say the combat.